A Year for Accumulation with Monex, featuring Managing Partner of CPM Group and author of the Monex Precious Metals Market Outlook Report, Jeffrey Christian.
Hello, my name is Sean Brasney, Sales Director for a Monex Deposit Company. I'm here with Jeffrey Christian, Managing Partner and Founder of CPM Group and the author of our Year for Accumulation report. Thank you for being with us today, Jeffrey.
It's good to be here, yes.
Yeah, Jeffrey, in the beginning of the year, we were still in somewhat of a downtrending to maybe sideways basing kind of market. And at the time, dealing with some low $1,200 gold, low $14 per ounce silver, and over the course of the first 6 months of this year, had investors heeded your advice and accumulated during that time frame, they would be in a really good position right now. So I wanted to really thank you for the report, the data that's in the report, and for doing these videos with us.
Yeah, we're happy and we're glad to work with Monex. We've worked with you guys for decades and we're glad to be doing it.
Well, over the last few months, really going back to June, it looks like the market has really turned into an uptrending market. And in the beginning of the report, you mentioned that there are two bull runs to focus on right now, one being the short term and one being the long term. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, since late June, since the last 2 weeks of June, we've seen gold prices and then silver and platinum joined in rise sharply. And gold has risen quite dramatically since late June. And one of the points that we make in your September Monex report is that what we've seen is a lot of short-term buying, ETFs, futures, forwards, options, things like that. We really haven't seen a lot of longer-term investors coming into the coin and bar market. We do think that they will, but what we've seen right now is a short-term bull market that's been characterized by a lot of short-term investor involvement. We're looking for that to be joined, and that's the first bull market and bull run to watch for. The second and bigger bull run, and the much more important one, is a longer-term one. And we do think that the short-term investors will be joined by long-term investors at some point. Everyone's looking at the state of the world politically, economically, financial issues, interest rate issues, currency issues. And at some point, all of those factors they're growing more significant. And what we've seen is investors starting to pay much more attention to them. And there are any number of investors around the world who have said to us, look, we're worried about these issues on a long-term basis, but on a short-term basis, they're not necessarily having a negative impact on the stock market or real estate or currencies. So we're not going to necessarily move into gold. That's changing now. And you're starting to see those longer-term investors prepare to mobilize, if not actually mobilizing. That leads to the second bull market, which is a much bigger, longer-term bull market. Our view is that it could last 5-6 years, and our view is that it takes gold prices to record levels over that 5-6 year period. That's just beginning. So, one of the metaphors we've been using is that we're in the foothills, we're not in the mountains yet.
You also made a comment in the report that CPM feels that gold prices may outperform silver over the next several years, even with silver prices spiking. I talked to a lot of diehard silver investors who seem to always think that silver always outperforms gold. So just wondering if you could share with us some data for that comment.
Well, silver often outperforms gold in percentage price increase during those spikes. And that reflects, I think, the fact that the silver market is much smaller in dollar terms and is thus much more volatile. But what we're doing is we're looking at longer term issues of gold and silver supply, fabrication demand, investment demand, inventories out there. And we think that the gold market is in a much better shape to have a larger and longer and more sustained bull market this time than silver. Silver is, the schizophrenic metal. It is a financial asset like gold and currencies, but it's also an industrial metal. And it has a lot of things hanging over it that gold doesn't have. In addition to which, gold is a much more universal financial asset. You'll find investors interested in gold around the world in virtually every country, whereas in silver, there are certain regions, Western Europe being one of them, where silver is less of an attractive investment on a financial asset perspective than gold.
So I would remind our viewers to give Monex a call today, talk to an account representative, and ask for your free Year for Accumulation report. Thank you for your time, Jeffrey.